We're here witnessing a march outside of the park towards the Methodist Church across from Emancipation Park. You can see an outpouring of support from people from all walks of life in Charlottesville, from surrounding neighborhoods and districts, and from places outside the state. And so folks are marching to show their resistance against white supremacy. And we just heard some really inspiring speeches and rally speeches from members of the faith community, professors, slam poets, hip-hop artists, all sorts of folks speaking out to defend C-ville against hate. People are feeling inspired by the speeches. They are not fearful of the hate. They are resisting en masse, courageously, to defend all people's rights, the rights of those historically disenfranchised by white supremacy. And a lot of white allies and accomplices are out to support the lives of people of color against white supremacy here in Charlottesville and beyond. So folks are beginning a march towards the Methodist Church around the corner to continue the spirit of goodwill among clergymen, members of the faith community, and other folks. Starting to drizzle a little bit out here, but that's not stopping folks in resistance. People are in good spirits and buoyed by the speeches and wonderful outcry of support for resistance of white supremacy. Later in the park, as you heard, there will be a puppet show and art demonstration, as well as lots of other musical activities and other activities. Catch up with the AD Carson. I'm live, but good job on your speech. That was a beautiful poem. America is burning, is that right?
That is true. Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, I mean, it seems fairly evident those torches were burning last night. So, I think that's evident.
Other than to do your poem and your slam, why'd you come out today?
To show up, to be visible in the face of whatever this mess is, because I'm not gonna live here and just let it be a thing that goes on without being out here. So I think it's important to show up.
You talked about a lot of points in your poem. It's not just something here. It's not just national, but this goes across history. It's the history of Native Americans and indigenous people on this land. It goes deep, and so. I really appreciate you talking about those aspects and powerful messages in that poem.
Thank you, and I think it's important. Like what as Dr. Bellamy is quoting. He's quoting Dr. King about getting the language right, but I think it's extremely important that we do get the language right, because when we don't, then what we do is we find ourselves believing the language that is on the page, which like signifies, like one thing, but like in deed, something else is going on. So, it's really important that we intervene at the level of language. Yeah.
That's right, and you did that in good force today.
I appreciate
Yeah, because the statues is just one issue, and that's what folks are rallying around. But we know the history behind that is always more complicated, and the nostalgia is not history. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
like you can't. Like the facts are the facts, and if you see statues as something that is nostalgic for a system that's predicated on other people's pain, then that is not what the history shows.
Yeah, and then
and
they end up not just being signifiers then of that past, but they are actually like markers of a present that is also oppressive. And so, of course, then we need to intervene.
That's right. Well, why is it important, you think, for other folks to come out, or for yourself? Why do you feel it's important just to be out here in the space,
Well, because I think that when you don't show up and then like you let this kind of stuff go unchecked, then it is a kind of a complicity with the order of things as they stand. So I believe that folks who say, well, that's not me, that's not our town, that's not who we are, yet they don't show up, then they're okay with that being us, that being our town, and that being the way that things are. So coming out here is to say, this ain't us. You show up in order to say this ain't us, to demonstrate that it ain't us. And so I think other folks need to come out. If they are able, they should come out. And if they aren't able to come out, then, participate online to share the word, to demonstrate that it ain't us.
How do you feel seeing all the people that have come out to support?
I think it's good. It's good. It's good to see. And hopefully there's more of it, and it's not just this, as, the other speaker said, that, like the everyday stuff, that folks stand up and speak out against the everyday injustices that have become normalized. It's high time folk actually start to engage in that as well. So that when there's not like this very overt, abnormal version of it, like the extreme version of it, that's the thing that brings people out. That's the thing that outrages people. I think that we also need to be outraged at the everyday ways that this system that has existed, 1619 forward, before 1619 forward, that we're dealing with right now. People need to stand up to that as well. Yeah.
All right, A.D. Carson.
Word.
Thanks for interviewing.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming out. Thanks for your words.
Word.
Yeah.
See y'all.
See you soon.
All right, man.
That was A.D. Carson talking about the everyday need to come out and resist white supremacy, not just in these spectacular scenes, but in everyday acts.